Hello, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Cloudy, and today I will be talking about KATSEYE and the utter vitriol their fandom has for them. KATSEYE's fanbase, aka icons, have been experiencing an upward trend of toxicity since the group debuted in 2024. Things such as racism, extreme parasocialism, and disingenuous attacks towards the members have been exacerbated in the past 2 years, and I blame Hybe and Geffen for lighting the match that started this fire. All roads lead back to Dream Academy, or more specifically, Popstar Academy. The Netflix documentary meant to showcase the process behind KATSEYE's formation. And though it did just that, it also caused a lot of issues within the fandom due to the drama and evil editing done to boost the girls' fame ahead of the release of their first mini-album, Soft is Strong, or SIS in 2024. The storyline that changed everything was surrounding KATSEYE members, m.i.a, Lara, and Sophia, as well as ex-Dream Academy contestant and current soloist Adela. The problem was, during the training and development phase of Dream Academy, m.i.a would often skip practices to preserve her physical and mental health. This frustrated the other trainees because they were working themselves to the bone, attending all rehearsals despite facing major and minor health implications. And they felt like m.i.a wasn't putting as much time and effort that is required for Dream Academy, and while every girl had a problem with it. The most vocal were Lara, Sophia, and Adela. A major rift then occurred online, resulting in icons choosing sides and dragging the other parties involved in the situation. But the girls who have received the most backlash and are still affected to this day are m.i.a and Lara. Because of the events that happened in the documentary, m.i.a is constantly being criticized whenever she's not present at any and all KATSEYE events. Quote-unquote icons would always post very sarcastic and borderline condescending remarks about how m.i.a is always absent, how she's quote-unquote going back to her old ways, or just straight up undermine her skills and abilities and comparing them to the other members. It's honestly gotten so bad that m.i.a was even accosted by icons for not going to a Thanksgiving celebration where all the other 5 members were celebrating together. Mind you, m.i.a is with those girls 24/7, and though I believe they're all really close, it doesn't change the fact that they're still co-workers. And also, whenever icons like to make their snarky comments towards m.i.a, they're made fully aware by Hybe and Geffen or m.i.a herself that the reason she can't attend performances or other events is due to her having a weak immune system and getting sick very easily. m.i.a also has been present for most KATSEYE promotions since debut and has shown immense improvement in her dancing, singing, and stage presence. All the criticisms people had for her, she is actively working on and seeing results. So why keep on bringing up things from the past that has already been resolved and no longer an issue? Why keep trying to bring this girl down and make her feel like she'll never be good enough? And then there's Lara, who got a ton of backlash for the way she handled the situation with m.i.a.'s work ethic or lack thereof. I can agree with those who say that Lara didn't act in the most mature or respectful way when it came down to this matter. But the way icons were on her like white on rice for it was insane, even though there was another member who acted the same way if not did more. Sophia. Now I know Sophia has gotten negative comments about her attitude towards m.i.a, but compared to Lara, she pretty much got a slap on the wrist from the fandom. I definitely believe that both Lara and m.i.a have faced so much because of the internalized racism that the fandom has yet to acknowledge. As I said before, m.i.a has been on the right path when it comes to her efforts in KATSEYE, yet her own fans constantly nitpick everything she does to prove a non-existent point she hasn't changed since Dream Academy. In putting these unrealistic expectations on her, as if she's not putting in the work like the rest of her members, is super weird and microaggressive considering they only put this expectation on her as the only black woman in the group. This is a tale as old as time, as other black members in girl groups like Normani from Fifth Harmony and Leanne from Little Mix have reflected on their experiences as being black women in predominantly non-black groups, and how they were expected to work 10 times harder than their other bandmates in order to be perceived positively by the public. The response to Laura's actions in Dream Academy are also signs of covert colorism and featureism. Like I previously stated, Sophia has said and done more to m.i.a during their stint on Dream Academy, and the fandom so easily let her go practically unscathed but continued dragging Lara. Most icons are K-pop fans, and they wouldn't want to admit this, but some of them have some implicit bias against anyone who isn't or at least doesn't look like a stereotypical East Asian. And Lara doesn't fit that mold, so it's easier to hold her accountable than it is for Sophia. Outside of that predicament, the featureism and colorism towards Lara has continued with many quote-unquote icons downplaying her beauty or just blatantly saying that she's objectively unattractive. This is rooted in racism because why Lara, a brown-skinned Indian woman with very ethnic features, is being called ugly or a visual hole, where she's one of the most incredibly conventionally attractive rising pop stars of today. As time went on, and the documentary, as well as the discourse surrounding it seemed to be a distant memory, KATSEYE continued to grow their platform and become way more visible to the general public. But this has come with a price, as the number of icons with heightened parasocial natures has increased drastically since the cis era. The fandom has gotten way too comfortable with inserting themselves into the girls' business, as if they know them personally. An example of this is when icons found out the girls were still friends with Adele after everything she said and done the documentary. They went ballistic and started to label them as fake friends to m.i.a. The funniest part about this is all the girls have said whatever issues they had during Dream Academy had already been resolved, and everybody is cordial with one another. It literally took m.i.a to take a picture with Adele a few weeks ago for fans to actually believe the girls didn't have a problem with each other. Icons also don't mind butting into the members' romantic relationships and calling their boyfriends chopped all the time because to them they don't match KATSEYE's level of attractiveness. Never mind that they treat the girls well or make them happy. Fans also have a very bizarre interest in the members' sexualities and have pressured them to come out due to constant online speculations. I understand that a lot of LGBTQ fans feel connected to KATSEYE and want some sort of representation for themselves. But telling the members to come out on live or assuming their sexualities isn't going to help achieve that goal. Meddling in these girls' private lives will not make y'all closer to them. In fact, it will most likely make the members resentful. Finally, there's the disingenuous attacks towards the members. I already talked about the disingenuous attacks against m.i.a and her presence in the group, and now I'm going to talk about the more recent one that was targeted towards her bandmate, Daniela. What had happened was, Daniela expressed her love for the rapper Playboi Carti in an interview, and what made people side-eye her is when she said that Playboi Carti saved her life. This was a very controversial thing to say because saying a man with a history of mistreating women, quote-unquote, saved your life is pretty insane. I don't have a problem with the fans who are holding her accountable and saying how weird that statement was, but what I do have a problem with are the icons that are overdoing it and canceling Daniela over this when it has been a known fact that she's a Playboi Carti fan, and nobody tried to cancel her or even call her out before. Also, when Playboi Carti dropped his album Music last year, KATSEYE publicly promoted it by wearing his merch on their very open social media pages. And again, nobody tried to cancel them or call them out. So it just seems very weird that all of a sudden people have an issue with Daniela proclaiming her love for Playboi Carti now when it didn't do so in the past. However, if you look very closely at the way icons have been slowly switching up on Daniela, this really isn't surprising. Like it seems like everything Daniela does nowadays gets criticized whether she deserves it or not. But it's just not Daniela, as icons have been overly critical of the other members as well. These instances have made people ask, does KATSEYE need media training? In my opinion, I think they kind of do. I say kind of because KATSEYE's image is about being very bold and being one's authentic self. So I would want the girls to keep things professional while still being able to be themselves, as they are very personable while engaging with outlets. I also think that people need to stop looking for any little thing to dislike the girls for or prove some point on why they dislike a certain member. There are so many other things I can bring up in this video that icons do that grind my gears, but I'm not trying to make this video longer than it already is. Plus, these trends are very much ongoing and don't look like they're going to stop anytime soon. But I hope for KATSEYE and the icon's sake they do, because this type of behavior could push the girls over the edge, and they might end up interacting or sharing things with the fandom less and less. And that's not fair to them or the normal icons such as myself that genuinely love the girls and want the best for them. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And tell me your opinions in the comments. Thanks again, and have a great one, y'all.
다 망가져도 상관없지 Be a little selfish